Cheryl, tell me how you reacted when you read in Star magazine that the man you say was your ex-lover, Peter Criss, the drummer, the former drummer from the rock band Kiss, was a homeless derelict in the West Coast.
Oh, I was so upset. I think it was the worst day of my life. My mom was with me the whole day, and I tried for hours and hours to locate him. And finally I did, at the end of the day.
How'd you find him?
I had made several attempts of calling all the shelters and the missions and all kinds of places that the Star had written he was going. And finally I decided the best place to go would be to call the writer of the Star story. And finally I got him, and at that point he told me that Peter was on the other line, and he came back to the phone and said, Peter wants you to call him right now in Ontario.
Ontario, east
California.
of Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you sent him a ticket.
First class.
First class. You paid for it?
Yeah.
And your motive?
To get him back on his feet. I couldn't even believe that someone who'd been in my life years ago could be so hard up and desperate. And I wanted to get him back with somebody who cared about him and get him an attorney and get his money back.
Your reaction then when, instead of Peter coming down the jetway, you see Christopher Dickinson.
Yeah. Well, I had requested something called privacy assistance from the airline, thinking that it was indeed Peter. And I had security there, and at the phone booth, I noticed a guy that looked like Peter from the back. He turned around, and it was Criss. It was not Peter.
And your reaction?
Well, I first wanted to beat the hell out of him, but then I decided he had to be pretty desperate to fly cross-country, knowing I'd certainly recognize him the minute I saw him.
Criss, you knew that she would recognize you the minute she saw you. Why did you think you could pull off this preposterous hoax?
Basically, I was pretty loaded. I was pretty out of it.
I understand you got pretty loaded in first class also.
Yeah.
He got kicked off. Kicked off the connecting flight.
Kicked off.
You were kicked off the flight. You were so drunk.
Yeah, in Chicago.
Yeah. I was
Don't you
ready
feel embarrassed?
Yeah.
I mean, there we have a split screen of the hoaxer on the left, the real guy on the right. And we know that Peter Criss has really responded to what you did in a very emotional way. He blames you for him being barraged by people saying, what the hell happened? How'd you fall into the gutter? I mean, don't you have any sense of conscience about that?
Yeah, I do. I do feel bad at this point. I really do. Well, for a long time, I really have.
I mean, can you play the drums?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. So. And Cheryl Ann, when Peter Criss was told the story, your story, he says that you and he never had a relationship.
Yeah, what happened?
That you were, just fishing to wheel in a groupie or a rock star.
No, what happened was the last time I saw Peter, there was a club that was owned by a former management company of his, and everyone in the industry used to congregate there. And as I have just recently found out, we dated 8 years ago, and he's been married 11. So he denies in print that he knows me, but he takes my phone calls real quick. And my mother has called his house also.
For the record, Peter is not here to give his side of the story. I think the heart of what is being said here, though, is indeed the Christopher Dickinson hoax. So what has happened to you since, Criss? I tell you, I've got to take a commercial break, and then we'll finish that line of thought. Hoaxes, including his. Everybody. Christopher, whatever happened to you? What are you doing now?
Nothing.
Are you still presenting yourself as Peter Criss?
No.